Apparently my setup's not totally there yet. Anyways, you know what? I don't have. Where should I put this? I don't have my water, so I'm gonna grab that. Excuse me. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm sure nobody's here yet, but we'll get started in a minute. Hey, you want something before I get started? Hey, do you want something before I get started? What? Can I do something for you? What would you like? Attention, I'm sure. Well, since he's not really telling me what he wants, we'll just deal with it. You know, my desk is a mess, y'all. I need to do something about this. It's not, it's, there's so much creative energy on it almost. I'm sure, you know, anybody watching will understand. Sometimes all of your projects get smushed together and it's not good, you know? It can be suffocating almost, and I'm kind of dealing with that. I feel like I'm struggling to finish projects because it's actually not. It's just a mess. Everything's jumbled. So I would say, you know, for those of you watching, if you're having like creative blocks, maybe consider decluttering your space, because that could be a big part of it. I've been working on this hat. It should be done soon. It's exciting. I haven't made a beret like this in a while. I'm excited to wear it. Might make one for a friend, who knows. Okay, so if you watched my last video, you saw that I got on, or I went on to Seattle, and I stopped in a cult shop that was right by the Neptune Theater over there. Hello, Cash App, Keith Carlock. Hey, I like your name. I should be repping my stuff that easy. You know, you got to make it easy for people to give you money, right? But anyway, yeah, I stopped in this occult shop. It had a long name. I wish I could remember it. Actually, I wanted to look it up on my phone because it was right by the theater. So I bet if I just look it up, I could figure out what the name of the shop is, and then I can give them a plug. You know, effort, you know, is its own reward. So yeah, I stopped in that shop. You know, funnily enough, while I was in there checking out, this man walked into the store and asked the guy working there, like behind the counter. I don't know if he owned the company or, yeah, okay, I found the name of the place. I don't know if he owned the place or if he just worked there, but he asked the guy if it was possible for a human being to be from Neptune. And the guy was just like, no, like, just no. Very sincere, like, no. And the guy was like, so a human being couldn't be from Neptune because they're from Earth, right? And it's so funny because the Neptune Theater influence was next to it. So I'm sure there's all kinds of like weird little experiences like that. I mean, working in an occult shop, I never have done that. I bet it's a riot though. I bet you meet all kinds of people that are interesting. So the name of the shop was Edge of the Circle Books. Now I went in there and they had another deck I wanted, which I asked to see initially, and then I ended up not purchasing, which I don't know how I feel about. I felt like maybe the deck was, I wanted to spend more money, I guess, because the deck was like $13, and I felt like he was so kind to me. I felt like I wanted to spend more money. You know, you ever have that feeling? Like, plus it's, you know, it's important to support local places like that. that are serving the community in some way. And they had a really good range of books there for a very small little hole in the wall. Like, I don't know what else they've got going on there, but I thought it was a nice little shop. So I don't have myself reading A Season in Hell anymore. No, I do. Man, you've been around a while, haven't you? That was a long time ago. I know. Yeah, people were mad at me for reading that. I remember that. I remember I got some snooty like stuff about that. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. That whole energy was pretty intense, and there were like these beautiful stained glass. I think they were stained glass anyway, but they were these windows in the actual theater that were beautiful, and they had different Greek gods on them, and I just found it pretty like energetically charged. So definitely, you gotta watch those things because it definitely had felt like a Neptunian temple in some ways, a modern one, and there's ways that the old gods survive. So, and then I, interestingly enough, had a dream where like that night there were three goddesses that appeared before me, but I can only remember the name of one, and she's actually like, I can't find out. I knew who she was, but I couldn't find out like that much information about her really as a figure herself, but she's a lunar goddess. So I thought that was interesting because there was so much going on with the moon around that time. And then I had this dream where she and like the other goddesses had revealed some things to me. So anyway, there are people watching, but y'all ain't liking the video. So remember, when you come in, do that. It helps if people who are watching here actually like the video while it's going. Something about the algorithms. Hello, Pico. So it was wrapped in plastic, and now that this bit is wrapped in plastic. I remember seeing a girl on YouTube. I cannot remember her channel, but I remember years ago she got this deck. And I wasn't really that impressed with the art from what I remember. But I got it for a reason, so I feel like it was the right choice. It's interestingly, like, I have a pretty, if you're a tarot reader, you come into a lot of decks. It just happens naturally over the years. Like, I don't even have that, like, big of a habit. I buy, like, I don't know, not that many a year. I've seen people who get like every single deck they can get their hands on. So I think I'm a lot more mild in my approach. But yeah, you do end up with a lot of decks. But I feel like every single one I've ever had, I was supposed to have. And even I sold a couple and I regretted it. Like I sold, I think, 3 decks that were in my possession, and I regretted it. I haven't regretted the ones I've given to people, though, because that felt right when I did it. When I gave somebody like a deck that I had owned, that felt correct. But selling them, the ones I sold, I still feel like, I wish I had that deck. And I guess I could get them again, but one of them, no. Thank you. Oh, I hit my thing there. Yeah, I've been wearing a lot of pink lately, trying to bring that energy forward. And it's actually a very powerful color. It's actually very dominant in a very like subtle way. So I've always worn a lot of black for that kind of thing. And I realized like, okay, well, the pink also does that, but it's in a feminine way. So it kind of is more subtle. Let's look at these cards, right? I got it open. Let's look at the cover. There's this beautiful drawing on the cover here. I mean, I think that's pretty glorious. It gives me elemental vibes, so I think there'll be some like elemental influences in this deck. I appreciate that. Um, Also, there's Kabbalistic influences here. We've got the Hebrew alphabet. There's a lot of different stuff going on here, actually. There's taken from a lot of traditions, actually. And at the top here, there's the wand, the cup, the sword, and the pentacle. And it says at the bottom, and I see men as trees walking. That's so interesting. So, okay, I see why I needed to get this deck. I'm a tree hugger. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know I post about trees, and I actually posted about trees today. I went out on my lunch break for a little jaunt, and I came upon a tree that had been killed. I just turned a corner in a familiar part. It was over actually by my church. I turned the corner, and there's this stump. And it was the tree that was like, when you turn a corner, there's like the first tree, it was that one. So it was like really extra shocking. And I felt like just, every time I see a tree get like killed, I always have this heartache, about it. Especially when it's like one like that, wild forests are amazing, but I always try to advocate and protect the trees that we have domesticated in some ways, that we have brought or we have planted in our cities, in our towns, in our yards. They're our responsibility. So anyway, that was upsetting. And it says, there's this woman on YouTube. She doesn't go, her name is like Mother Wisdom, I think now. I think I have her linked on my other channels, like suggested channels. But she used to go by Spirit Tree Naima. And I resonated with her because she had tree spirit, and in some of the like past life regression type of experiments I did in my youth. I don't want to say my youth, but that I've done in my life. And a couple of them, I had remembrances of myself as a tree, living as a tree. And that was, I don't know, maybe I've always like been a tree hugger. I used to initially, like as a kid, just instinctively would want to wrap my arms around the trees and hug them. And I still do, I see sometimes, you just see a tree and you want to touch it. And some of them are very, open to being touched. Some of them not so much, but you learn how to read what trees are appropriate. But anyway, that was just, it took a lot of wind out of my sails, seeing that. And I even like put my hand on its stump, it was still alive. Yeah, I got accused of that too, Pico. Stupid assholes. My baby. That's what we think of those kids. That's what we think. That's idiotic and horrible. The way, like, I don't know. Being a kid's rough, especially if you're sensitive. It's a rough time. Anyway, let's look at this deck. What a beautiful message, though. And I see men as trees walking. The Queen of Swords comes up first here, and it has a word at the bottom. So that's always interesting. Those are fun, especially for people, when I read for people who aren't familiar with tarot. because I am in those positions sometimes. Like I do get recommended as a reader often as like people's first reading, which is a wonderful experience actually to know that you initiate people into a new experience like this. But so it says reason at the bottom, and I think that's a nice little hint, especially if you're someone learning to read tarot, but also someone who maybe doesn't know the meanings of the cards, but is getting this reading, and they see that it triggers something in them to think about while the reading is happening. So I like that that is part of this. King of Swords, which says intuition. Oh, wow, I like that. Look at that. Like how she sits on this throne of clouds, and his crown is of feathers, and he seems to be like on a mountain, the King of Swords. Okay, I mean, yeah, very elemental. Very great. I'm glad I got this deck, yeah. And I like that it's all mixed up. Like I haven't needed to shuffle it. That's kind of cool just to go through and see what we see. This is the World card. Yeah, maybe I should turn the light on my camera. See, but I couldn't do this earlier in the day. Yeah, it's not going to work. Okay. What a beautiful card. Look at this little sprite. Worlds. Pico asks, do I go to church? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm a church member. Judgment. Oh, wow. Oh, there's some nudity. Whoa, whoa. Yeah. Hopefully YouTube isn't mad at me for this. The sun card is lovely. I love the face in the sun too. When I used to draw the sun as a child, I always put a face in it. Maybe I should do them. I saw another image, or like it was a sculpture of the sun with a face in it, and I was like, oh, it touched me. Maybe that, I think I want to do that. I think that's going to be a project for me. The moon card, wow. Oof, oof. Oh, wow. What a deck. Look at this art. Oh my God. One of the baristas at my local shop was a Teletubby for Halloween. Or no. Two of them, they did a Teletubby thing. Okay, so one of them was Lala, and the other one was the Sun Baby. Okay, wow. Look at that card. The star, sorry. Oh, that is glorious. And even like, what you see on the screen, like in person, it's just even more like powerful. The Tower. So I guess these are, I don't know, the major arcana seem to be together. Maybe I shuffled it without realizing. Oh, I love the Devil card. Look at that. Wow. Wow. Who's this artist? Temperance. Oh, death. Oh my goodness. Look at this Reaper. I love the crown. I love the Reaper with the crown image. Oh, and there's a raven at her feet. Oh my God. Oh, wow. What powerful images. I mean, I have to say, I love the hangman. Wow, I love him. I love how playful the hanged man is. Like, I like that because I never think of that with the hangman, but it's like, maybe you should, surrender to the wisdom of the fool in those circumstances. Yes, the dead. They yeah, it does look like those. The dead kings from Lord of the Rings that chased Frodo. Maybe I should rewatch that. Should I? Probably not. Justice. Oh wow. I think that's a really yeah. I like that a lot. Wheel of Fortune is, you know, not that interesting, I suppose. The Hermit card. Ooh, wow. Love it. Strength. Incredible. Chariot. So this was on the back of the deck, this image. I love that the horse is of the color of the horse. I have to think about it. I love the cloak too. It seems to have like galaxies in it or something. Hmm. The lovers. Hmm. He's looking at her. She's looking at the heavens. Priest. So it's priest rather than the Hierophant, but still, he has a crescent moon. Interesting. Emperor. Oh, I love there's even a ram on the shield there. Quite an image. I like the size of these cards too. Oh, Empress, I like her. I like her hair especially. Quite cool. Okay. Oh my goodness, the high priestess or priestess. She's freaky, man. Like kind of scary image actually. See the cards are very funny, aren't they? Very funny. The magician. Ooh, I like the magician quite a bit. I love being in a field as a musician, magician. I love that. Takes me back to being a kid, honestly. And the fool. Oof. This fool is very precarious. It's very frightening there. Okay. I won't show you every card. Oh, interestingly enough, okay, so this is the Eight of Cups. It says instability. So they do have like the number on them, and it's the same with like the Seven of Cups here, which says imagination. Um, ooh, look at this Five of Cups. Ooh, regret, regrets. Oh, the Two of Cups. Love. Oh. Oh, I like this. The Ace of Cups is beauty. Here's the Ten of Discs or globes or pentacles. It says prosperity. Oh, I like the Nine. Prudence. Oh, the Eight. It says skill. Oh, I love these. Oh, the Six. Well-being. I like these messages. These are really, I think these would be very good. Oh wow, that's a good message. I like how positive they are. So like this card, which is like one of difficulty, this would be a good deck to read for people who are scared of tarot cards because says adaptation. So this card, which has pretty like shocking or stark imagery on it, and like the Rider Waite, for example, you see that, you see adaptation. It helps you kind of pivot a conversation that it can become more proactive, you know. What is this? This is the 3 of coins. Are they coins? I don't know. It says gain. I like that. Oh my goodness. And the 2 says unity. And look at that beautiful. Oh, yeah, wow. Okay. Let's see. Although the the swords don't get very, this is desolation, despair, conflict, uncertainty. And the swords are rough. I'll tell you, the swords is a challenging deck, or a challenging suit in a tarot deck, isn't it? Like anybody else who reads, when swords come up, it can be like the message is always very blunt. It has to be sharp. It has to be kind of cutting or incisive or just like true in a way that's uncomfortable sometimes. So yeah, when a lot of swords, whenever you have a lot of swords come out in a reading, it's like, oh, okay. Here we go. Here we go. Change. 6 of swords is change. The 5, loss. I mean, they're not all terrible. Rest. The 3, sorrow. Peace for the 2. And I love that image, actually. Yeah, they're not all bad. They're not all terrible, but it is what it is. It's the suit of swords. Oh, okay. The suit of fire is looking interesting. So all the court cards in this suit of fire, like the king here, what does he say? Innovation for the king of wands. And then the queen is reflection, which is very true of the queen of wands, actually, isn't it? Because she's very, well, she's experienced, she has learned by doing. Okay, we'll say that. She's not like book smart, she's worldly smart. Yeah, but they're all very brightly colored. Although the princess has this darker kind of fire, and it says transformation. So that's interesting. Oh, wow. Wow, ouch. Oppression. They did it. The princess, you can be related to Sagittarius, but I mean, like, it's not, I don't remember exactly the astrological alignments with that. I mean, I know some of them with the cards, but like, it's not, I can't draw it out for all of them. And I don't know exactly if it is specifically Sagittarius, but I mean, you could interpret it that way. It could represent a Sagittarius if it's relevant, If you have a Sagittarius around, you're doing a reading, this person comes up in it, it could be relevant. Preparation for the 9. I like that. Oh, wow. The 7 is valor. And I love that character on it. I don't know if she'll come out exactly. There we go. Just have to be patient. Yeah. This is, completion for the 4. I like that image. I really like that image, actually. It's very, these cards, you could see yourself really sitting with. I did get the right deck, didn't I? I really did. 2, Dominion. Now we're at the suit of water. Okay, wow. King of Cups is inspiration. Love that. The Queen is contemplation. She's got much darker waters. But that's very true of feminine energy, you know? There's a light part to it, and then there's the dark part of it. So I like that that's represented in these cards too, where they seem to strike a balance. Um, Prince is creativity. I really like that image of the Prince of Cups. Come on. I just love how the colors are flowing out of his cup into the waters. It's very, I don't know, there's something about that. Um, Princess of Cups is evolution. I love it. Yeah, she does look like a shrimp or something that like transforming into, I don't know. It's like a mermaid of some kind, but anyway, reminded me of a shrimp too. Where are the other cups? Did we already go through them? Was I not paying attention? Do I have all my cards? Do I need to count them? Um, yeah, 10 and 9. I don't really, neither of these really inspire me much. What is it? It says content, the 9 of Cups, and 10 is success. So, where are the other? I feel like I'm missing some cards. I'm missing cups. I'm pretty sure I am. I didn't go through the whole deck. So this is weird. I'm missing cards. Let me see. Four, five. I have enough cards. Maybe I'm just tripping, y'all. But I feel like I don't feel like I do though. But I counted and it came out right. So it must be right. But something don't feel right. But anyway, we'll just let it be. I guess I'm tripping. Yeah, I am. I'm tripping. Okay, yeah, I did see those cards. They were mixed up. That's right. Okay. No, it's just some of the cards were mixed up a little bit. I think I might have like shuffled them without realizing it when I was holding them. Either that or they came a little bit jumbled. Okay, y'all. One of those moments. Okay, so yeah, the artist Elizabeth Josephine Gill. What can I find out about her? So I guess it was first came out copyrighted in 1989. To be useful for spiritual searching, a system must offer a mirror in which one can see oneself as objectively as possible, and it must be a guide to lead the seeker. There must also be a living, growing, dynamic bond between the seeker and the object of study. Without that, nothing arises except the accumulation of information and an increase in vanity, based on a view of oneself as being imbued with great amounts of mystical knowledge. Interesting. Yeah, so they explain a lot about the deck itself. It's based on the Kabbalistic tree of life, which is illustrated symbolically on the back of the cards. Okay. The numbers that correspond to the spheres on the tree of life are shown on the card titled Layout Guide. And so it has the normal back and then that. Okay. Um, and then she recommends, yeah, different books you can read to learn more about the Kabbalist, how to do mix the two, or it's a book called The Kabbalistic Tarot, basically, using it as a map. And then, yeah, they go over the different minor arcana. And yeah, yeah, this is a layout to read the cards in, you know? Yeah, so interesting little white book. She has kind of her philosophy listed in there. How do you cleanse and charge your decks? Oh, I don't really do that. Unless I really like, I'll cleanse a deck if I've had a nasty reading, if I need to, but why do I need to cleanse my deck or charge it? It works. I don't need to charge it. I just open this up. If I want to, I can pull a card and it will be relevant. I don't have that mindset that I need to do all that. When I was first like practicing, I did have that mindset, I think, but the more I kind of grew into my own sense of self, like I evolved, the Princess of Cups here, I realized that all the power is in me. The deck becomes charged the minute I purchased it. The minute I intend to use it, it's been charged. I've already declared it a magical tool. You know what I mean? Because of who I am and the powers I have. So it's charged. It's alive. I can feel it. It's going to work for me. We've introduced ourselves, but, I usually, when I do get a new deck, I'll do a reading about the deck. Like I'll ask the deck to introduce itself to me. So that's a ritual I'll do, I'll ask it to show me some cards about itself. And there are layouts you can look up that, I've seen online that kind of, getting to know your deck kind of readings. There was one I've done, over the years. So that I found that I thought was good, but, or you can come up with your own. Like, what do you want to ask your deck about itself? I think that's a good ritual to be in. But like for me, cleansing is important, but I cleanse regularly and that affects all my property. Everything I have dominion over gets cleansed when I do my cleansings. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really believe, I have to set my cards in the moonlight. I mean, those things are fun to do, and I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I don't think it's necessary, okay, to like have a deck be fully operative and powerful and to give you the kind of readings you want it to do. If you want to charge with like astrological energies, I mean, go ahead, or with crystals, or with prayers of intention, go right ahead. But I don't think it's like there's a lot in the. I remember when I first got into tarot, there was so many like superstitions that I came across. Like you must have your first deck has to be gifted to you. It has to be given to you as a gift. And so I'm like, well, who's gonna give me a tarot deck? Like I'm like hitting around at people like, you want to get me a tarot deck? And like, I realized like I can give myself gifts. That was an important lesson to learn. Like I can wait around for somebody else to make things happen, or I can do it for me, you know? Um, so I got a reading from someone and it made me want to read myself. And I knew like instantly when I got a reading, I was like, this is exactly what I should be doing. I was sitting across from this person. She was reading my cards and I was just like, this just, I would be so good at this, and that's where I got started. And so then I went home and I got myself a deck. So yeah, I like this deck a lot. I'm excited to have it out and to play with it and do some readings for myself with it. And maybe I'll use it with my readings this month. I haven't done them yet. So yeah, maybe we'll have that happening down the wrong pipe. All right. Well, that was the Gill Tarot. Does anybody have any like statements about anything or any questions before I head out of here? Because I'm gonna get about my evening. If not, you can just say bye. Oh, thank you, Heiko. Thank you for chatting with me this evening. I think you're the only one talking. So yeah, thank you for keeping the chat going. I appreciate you being here. Would you like me to pull you a card, actually? I'll pull you a card before you leave. Can we get a card for Heiko? Okay, that's nice. Energy, the Ace of Swords. I love that it's like the A is on there for the ace and the feathers are opening up. I mean, okay, your thoughts are energy. I would say that to you right now. Like the beliefs you have are energy. Like the question you asked me today, like be careful what you believe. Be careful with it because it's important to know that like every thought you have is an energy in and of itself, and that energy is powerful, and it becomes even more powerful when we speak it into existence. So I would say like choose your thoughts and your words carefully. Remember that they carry energetic imprints. So before you accept something, like always keep your sword drawn too. Always keep your sword drawn, like be skeptical as well of what you take in. Well, that's good. Okay. Well, that's good energy too. All right, y'all. Well, with that, I will leave for the evening. And if you're watching on Catch Up, let me know what you thought of the cards. And if not, I'll see you next time. Bye.